This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. It's fight week, Hughie Fury versus Joseph Parker.
Oh, snap.
WBO heavyweight title on the line. I'm joined by King Malik Scott.
One and only, baby.
How are you?
I'm good, Keith. How you doing, man?
Yeah,
just here for the Fury Parker fiasco. You know, been boxing Joseph Parker, so I'm looking forward to the fight. You know, Hughie's a young lion. He's hungry, so it's going to be interesting. But this is the first kickoff of press conferences, so I'm here, baby.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, we know Team Parker have been had some issues over the referee in charge this week, and I'm sure there's going to be.
Well, it was a referee and the judges, from my understanding, or at least from what I heard. Like, it was all three is British.
Yeah.
The referee, so it's like, you know, if he has a good team like he does have, Parker, because I've witnessed him and been around him, of course they're going to do a little vouching about that. So I think that's pretty normal.
I mean, Joseph Parker, when he come onto the scene, like I said, he's been doing everything asked of him. He won the world title, and they always say it's defending it. That's the key.
Yeah, that's the part to get started.
But Hughie Fury, better than anything Parker's faced, in your opinion, in his career so far?
Well, Hughie is a, you know, legit boxer. You know, I'm not sure who he beat or what he did to get an actual title shot. I don't know that, but I know Joseph Parker, he beat a very tough Andy Ruiz in a tough 12-round fight. Before that, he fought Carlos Takam. Before that, he fought a couple other guys, you know what I mean, that really, you know, just can push you. I'm not sure if Hughie ever been on that stage yet with that type of level of competition, but Hughie is definitely young. He got ability, and he's coming to win the title. Actually, he's coming to take it. So Parker's going to have to beat him. Like, he can't lay back. You know, he have to beat the Joseph Parker that I've been seeing for the last 6-7 weeks.
There is still a question mark about how good Joseph Parker really is. You know, I think that's yet to be seen in some respects. But in your opinion, how does he fare against
The Joshua's and Deontay's?
yeah, exactly, the other world champions at heavyweight?
Well, I think out of all of them, it's obvious that he's the most, you know, underrated out of the champions, because, you know, you got a massive superstar like Joshua, you got a superstar like Deontay Wilder, who is probably the best heavyweight in the world right now. To me, is Deontay Wilder. Then you have an underrated New Zealand who's making his own mark, Joseph Parker, who has all the ability in the world. He's fast, the kid can punch, he's athletic when he wants to be. You know, he takes care of his body for the most part. So, you know, I think his chance is 50-50 with anybody in the division, not just the champions, but the contenders as well. So, like, you know, this kid can fight, man. Joseph Parker's the real deal.
It's interesting you say that Deontay Wilder's the number one. Obviously, we do have unified champion Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, even though
they both are superstars and number ones in their own right. But if you ask me, my personal best is probably Deontay Wilder.
Okay. And you know, somewhere in the line, I know, regardless of him being inactive over the last, you know, 20 months or so, but Tyson Fury, some people still regard him
all
as...
of this is going on because of Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, baby. All of this is happening right now because of him. And what he did in Dusseldorf that night, I was there to witness, and I never will forget it. But these young lions is coming up, and they have taken their rightful place and have been ruling it with an iron fist. Like, because, you know, you got Anthony Joshua, Deontay, Joseph Parker, and then you have the second tier guys, then the third tier guys. I just think the heavyweight division right now is sizzling, because even the number 15 guy is probably it could be in a 50-50 fight with any other champions. You know what I mean? Just depending on who that is. So you got some, because, you know, the Dylan Whites, bro, coming up hard. Yeah, you know, you got young guns coming from the state with Domani, I forgot his last name, Young Rock from Philadelphia. You got so many guys coming up, man. Like, you know, the heavyweight division is scary right now. From the ones that's coming up and the ones that's here. Because, you know, yeah, the Deontay Wilders and the Anthony Joshua's, yeah, we can see that. But I'm the guy, I'm always looking at the young ones that's coming. Like, you know what I mean? Because what's the guy that Frank Warren has? The big guy. And I heard he did something to Joshua. And
Daniel Dubois.
Powerhouse. Fucking powerhouse. Fucking powerhouse, bro. These guys, these young lions is not playing and they coming. But right now, you know, it's three in charge: Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and Joseph Parker. So that's the focus right now.
And obviously, we're expected to hear confirmation, if it hasn't already been confirmed, that Deontay Wilder will defend his world title against, obviously, someone you know very well in King Kong, Wilder-Ortiz.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to that fight got a lot of criticism between yourself and Wilder-Ortiz. Looking back on it now, what's your thoughts on that?
My thought is that it was a gutless performance on my behalf. It was an awful night. I think out of anybody that Ortiz ever fought, I made him look. You know, basically, not like shit, but like shit. You know, I look like shit, and I made him look like shit. I really stunk up the joint, and you know, that just was an awful night, an awful performance, and it set me back a bit in my career. But as far as him and Deontay fighting, you know, I think this is the last of the whole Ortiz thing right here. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have the fight going past 5 rounds. I got Deontay clipping him under 5, so
really, yeah,
it's gonna be exciting. All the build up, all the way up until, and even the first 3, 4. Because in my opinion, still, I tell people this, that Ortiz is probably the best southpaw in the history of heavyweight boxing, bar none to me. And I'm including Michael Moore and everybody. I feel as though he's the best counterpunch and got the best counter step back with the left hand from a southpaw stance in the heavyweight division. So I think that's what makes him dangerous. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how he want to do it. And his presence is very strong in the ring. He has a very strong presence, just like Deontay does. So it's a good fight, and it's great on paper, but I don't have it going past 5 rounds. Deontay.
Okay, that's interesting. There's been talk of Bellew Whyte fighting Big Baby Jarrell Miller.
Yeah, that's the fight I want to see, bro.
We want to see that fight as well.
That's the fight, man. I don't know.
Spoke to Jarrell the other day. You know, he wants Eddie Hearn to, you know, come up with the what we call here Reddies, the Benjamins as you call it, and maybe something can be done.
Reddies, huh?
Reddies.
Reddies. Okay.
Didn't you know that?
No.
I'm teaching you.
I'm
teaching you.
Yeah, Reddies.
Reddies.
Yeah, I might take that back.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to see that fight? Like I said, from a fan perspective, we'd like to see that fight as well.
Oh yeah, that's another. That fight has the ability to be fight of the night, fight of the year. You know, the same thing with Dylan and Chisora. The fact remains that Dylan brings those kind of fights. It's not by coincidence, because those guys, Jarrell Miller, Derek Chisora, they have fought other people, but they never have got fight of the night. Yeah. It's Dylan's presence in the ring. He brings that type of attitude. He brings that kind of demeanor in the fight. It's either you're going to shit or get off the pot. And if you shit, then it's going to be a hell of a night of boxing. It's going to be a war. And if you're not, then Dylan's going to run through you. But him and Jarrell, I believe, makes for fight of the year and one of the best heavyweight fights in a long, long time.
We'll see if it can be made.
It has the ability to be like a much more slower pace. David too, and I could be a Bucci. You remember that fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it not that fast of a pace, but that kind of intensity. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I see that going. Because they both 2 stubborn motherfuckers, and they coming to get it.
Finally, Malik, what is your actual prediction for Saturday night?
I have Joseph stopping Fury, you know, under 8 rounds, unless, and I'm only going off of what I see, unless Fury is going to do something that I've never seen him do before with this caliber type of fighter. And it's almost not fair to really, you know, I guess, have a prediction, because this is, to me, Fury's first big stage fight. And he's fighting for a world title, and he's fighting somebody that could fight for a world title. But if you ask me my opinion, I think Joseph Parker have the ability to stop him before 8 rounds is up.
One more question, actually, Malik. The new addition to the heavyweight mix, Mr. Tony Bellew.
Another one.
Who beat David Haye earlier in the year, and they're talking about a potential rematch later this year. We don't know exactly about that situation at the moment, but your thoughts on Bellew and also Haye himself as well?
That fight is a masterpiece by Tony Bellew. I thought Haye showed guts and glory. You know, a lot of things that people didn't think he had after his fight with Vlad. You know, when he did the Malik Scott for 12 rounds against Vlad, he kind of did it. You know what I'm saying, though? And he got a lot of slack for that. But I think in that fight, he was willing to go on with the Achilles messed up like that. But I think even before the injury, and it's funny we're talking about this fight, because I use this fight in a sense to actually show other young fighters that when you're fighting a puncher, you don't have to move like Malik Scott did against Ortiz, or you don't have to move that much. No, Tony Bellew, he was right in the position to move away from shots and be far enough just to put the counter back. And there's so many times he countered Haye in that fight. I think the rematch, though, I hate to keep saying it, it could be candidate for another fight of the year. That's how popping the heavyweight division is to me. That almost every fight you ask me about, Coog, I said it can almost be fight of the year. I got Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua being the heavyweight version of Hagler and Hearns. No way that fight goes past 5, 6 rounds.
Someone's got to go.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no, they both too dangerous. Too dangerous. Those type of fights don't go the distance. No. The reason that Vlad and Joshua even went that far, because Vlad plays it safe. He know how to play it safe. But You know, but you know, Deontay is hungry for Joshua. Joshua's hungry for success. So them two get in the ring together. It's 5-year works, baby.
Any update on yourself?
No, not right now. The first day was talk about me and Hellenius, but I heard he's fighting Bellew Whyte now, which is another good fight for Dylan. So we're going to see right now. But, you know, this is my life. If I'm not in the gym, I'm fighting. If I'm not fighting, I'm flying from my fight to another training camp. Like, this is just what I do. Even when I'm not fighting, I'm in training camp training. You know, it's just a part of my life. It's all I know, Cool. It's all I know, baby.
All right, well, listen, I'm sure we'll catch up with you again later on in the week. It's going to be an interesting week from Manchester from tomorrow. So, yeah.
Yeah, baby. All snap. All snap!
Malik, Scott, thank you very much for talking to iFull TV.
All right, baby.